You walk into the kitchen, you stop, you stand there in the middle of the floor, completely certain that 10 seconds ago you wanted something. Now, there is nothing. The reason has vanished, wiped clean, gone as if it was never there at all. So you wait. You look around for a clue, maybe the fridge, maybe the drawer, and while you are standing there, blank and slightly annoyed, something else is happening in your head. A song you have not heard in 15 years is playing. Every word, every pause, the exact way the singer's voice cracked on the high note. You did not summon it. It just arrived, perfect and complete. But the real answer is far stranger than a bad memory. The same brain that just lost a thought you had 4 seconds ago is holding thousands of song lyrics in flawless condition, songs you never once tried to memorize. This is not a glitch. It is two completely different machines running at the same time, doing exactly what each was built to do. Let me explain. You tend to think of memory as one thing, a single storage room where everything you experience gets filed away, some of it neatly, most of it badly. But that is not how your mind works. You do not have one memory. You have many, and they run on different rules, with different purposes, shaped by very different histories. The thought about why you walked into the kitchen belongs to one system. The song belongs to another. To understand why one fails while the other never seems to, you have to understand what each was actually designed for. Start with the kitchen. That blank moment, where the reason for walking into a room evaporates the instant you arrive, is so common that scientists gave it a name. They call it the doorway effect. And one researcher in particular spent years proving it is real. His name is Gabriel Radvansky, a psychologist at the University of Notre Dame. In his experiments, Radvansky had people move through a virtual environment, picking up objects and carrying them from one place to another. Sometimes they crossed a room. Sometimes they walked through a doorway into a new room. Then he tested how well they remembered what they were carrying. The result was strikingly consistent. People forgot more after walking through a doorway than after walking the same distance within a single room. Think about that. It was not the distance, it was not the time, it was the door itself. Why would a doorway erase a thought? Because your brain does not record your life as one smooth, continuous film. It chops experience into pieces. Psychologists call these pieces events, and the moment one event ends and another begins is called an event boundary. A doorway is one of the clearest boundaries there is. When you cross it, your brain quietly decides that one chapter has closed and a new one has opened. It flushes the old working details to make room for the new scene. The plan you were holding, go to the kitchen, get the scissors, lived in a fragile, temporary kind of memory. The kind built to hold something just long enough to use it, then let it go. Researchers like Jeffrey Sachs have shown that this constant slicing of experience into events is not a flaw. It is how you make sense of a world that never stops moving. The cost is small. Sometimes a thought falls through the cut. The reward is that your mind stays organized instead of drowning in one endless, unbroken stream. So the kitchen blankness is not your memory failing, it is your memory doing precisely the housekeeping it evolved to do. Now turn to the song. The song lives in a completely different place, and it got there by a completely different path. You never sat down and drilled those lyrics. You did not repeat them on flashcards. They soaked in, slowly, across dozens of accidental listens, until one day they were simply yours, more durable than your own phone number. To understand why, you have to go back further than any recording studio, back to a time before writing existed at all. For most of human history, there was no way to store knowledge outside the human head. No books, no notes. If your tribe knew something important, a map of the land, a list of which plants could kill you, the story of where your people came from, that knowledge had to survive inside memory alone and be passed mouth to mouth across generations. And here is the remarkable thing. The cultures that did this did not pass down their knowledge as plain speech. They wrapped it in song, in rhythm, in rhyme, in repeating patterns. A psychologist named David Rubin spent his career studying exactly how these oral traditions worked. The epics and ballads that people held in memory for lifetimes without a single written word. He found that the music was not decoration. It was the technology. Rhythm tells you how many words should come next. Rhyme tells you what sound the line has to end on. Melody locks each phrase to a specific shape and pitch. So when you try to recall a song, you are not pulling each word out cold. Every part of it is holding up every other part. The tune hands you the rhythm. The rhythm hands you the meter. The meter narrows the options until the rhyme practically forces the right word into your mouth. Have you ever been unable to remember a single lyric until you started humming the tune, and then suddenly the words poured out? That is this system, working exactly as designed. The melody is a scaffold, and the words are hung along it like clothes on a line. This is why a jingle from a commercial you despise can outlast facts you studied for hours. The fact had nothing holding it up. The jingle came preloaded with rhythm and rhyme and repetition, the three oldest memory tools your species ever invented. But there is one more piece, and it explains why the song feels effortless while the kitchen plan felt like work. Back in the 1800s, a researcher named Hermann Ebbinghaus did something almost unthinkable. He turned his own mind into a laboratory. He memorized long lists of meaningless syllables and then tested, hour by hour, day by day, how quickly he forgot them. From this, he drew what is now called the forgetting curve, and it showed something brutal. Most of what you learn once, you lose fast, often within the first day. But Ebbinghaus found the cure too: repetition spread out over time. Each time a memory is revisited, it fades more slowly than before. The curve flattens, the memory hardens. Now think about how you encountered that song. Not once, not twice, on the radio, in a friend's car, at a party, in a store. Over months and years, spaced out perfectly, by accident in the exact pattern Ebbinghaus discovered, hardens memory the most. You were running an ideal study schedule without knowing it. The kitchen plan got one rehearsal. The song got 100, scattered across your whole life. So the song was never competing on fair terms. It had melody holding it up, rhyme pulling it forward, rhythm counting the beats, and years of accidental repetition burning it deeper and deeper. The thought about the scissors had 4 seconds in a doorway working against it. You were never bad at remembering. You were watching two different systems built for two different worlds, behaving exactly as they should. And here is where it turns back on you. The blankness in the kitchen is not a sign of a failing mind. It is a sign of a mind that knows how to forget on purpose, clearing away what no longer matters so it can stay sharp in the present. The flood of song lyrics is not a sign of a brilliant memory. It is a sign of how powerfully your mind clings to anything wrapped in pattern, whether you want it to or not. So, the next time you stand frozen in a doorway with no idea why you came, do not be frustrated with yourself. You just watched your brain close one chapter and open another, the same skill that lets you move through an entire day without your thoughts collapsing into chaos. And the next time a song you never chose to learn plays itself perfectly in your head, listen closely. You are hearing the oldest memory machine humanity ever built, still running thousands of years later, inside you. You walk into the kitchen, you stop, you have no idea why you came, but somewhere in that same quiet skull, a song from a lifetime ago is playing every word in perfect order, and now, finally, you know exactly why.